right, there's a lot in here. Greg, you're a strong man. You are a very strong man, my brother. And I'm not saying that mockingly. Look, I love it. I love it because one thing I did say to Tony before, I said, this podcast is great because it's real, and we can have conflicting views, and that's the way it's got to be. That's the only way it kind of hots up and then gets other people to, to sort of to man up, if you like, and to throw their bit in. And I'm going to agree to a degree with what Greg just said. I mean, look, I'm not going to go into. I don't want to. What's going to be edited from this? I don't know, but Tony, you mentioned the role models.
Your life.
We got. I'm live. I know this is the thing. So you see, I'm trying to piece my words. No, let's go for it. It's real talk. Listen, look, who are the role models? So who are the role? We're going to be careful in terms of who we choose and who we sort of take on as those role models. Yeah. Society, what I've found anyway, uses people. We've got to sit and really look at this. Uses key people or instrumental people or people that are famous or whatever to then hijack the agenda, right? To come and hijack the whole agenda, to manipulate the agenda. And in the case of Will Smith, I used to love Will Smith show. I used to work back in the day. The Prince, was it the Fresh Prince? I used to love that show, right? Not knowing today, 30 years later, it's a different thing. Now, there, in that case, all I'm going to say is it just looks like pure confusion. I just see that there's been such a compromise of values. I see a lack of alignment. You understand? And that has now had a ripple effect into his children and into many, many other young people, and so-called fans or whatever. But that's him. And it's not just him. There are many others like that. And that's why I've said that we've got to be careful. Where do we choose our role models from? If it's from the entertainment sector, I'm not too sure that's always a good area to base, our role model influence from. Because I think we all know to a degree that, when they go down certain paths, in order for them to get that fame, in order for them to get that recognition, they've either got to renounce something or take on something else. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's why I said there's a compromise of values and so on. So it's important, very important. Love what I think was it Greg that said it or Hero? He said about that Socrates quote. Absolutely love that. We do have to know what we stand for. And you see, when we're looking at role models, then Tony and gents, when we pick a role model, what standpoint are we looking at them from? Are we looking at it because they're making loads of money? Are we looking at it because they've got loads of followers? Are we looking at it because they dress well? Are we looking at it because they've got loads of women following them? What's the, you know what I'm saying? What's the start? What's the status point? How does a man look like he's manned up? Is it because of what he's got in terms of materialism, or is it in terms of what we see his values are? I'll tell you what. Look, one of my role models, I've got to say, yes, he is from the entertainment field. Me personally, I like a man, for example, like Denzel Washington, because apart from his acting prowess and so forth, when I've heard interviews and just see the way he carries himself and so forth, I see that there's a certain alignment. Yeah, I see there's some forthrightness. I see, strong values. Him as a person, as a man, also as a family man. Economically, I see him using his influence or his power, for example, to then have a great ripple effect amongst not just the community, but the world at large. So, I mean, again, just saying that, what's the starting point? What are we choosing and looking at those people as role models for? Are we going to look at politicians, for example, as role models, right? Are we going to look at, I don't know, musicians? What is it? What is it that makes that person stand out in our eyes?
Well, I think just like you said, just like you, Joe, just like you said, manning up, and you talked about. I think everyone has value. Everyone has puts good points in, and it's and to be honest with you, since we're getting to the close now, and I'm like, what is the definition of manning up? I mean, what
We
do
haven't
we
even.
mean? We haven't touched the tip of the
Yeah,
iceberg of manning up. And then
exactly.
also, what are the issues that, like I said earlier, when we talk about the UK, now we've identified there's a difference between manning up in the UK and manning up in Africa, yeah, or manning up in Nigeria, if you want to go as close, and why is there a difference? Why is there a difference? The difference is the rules and regulations, yeah, because the rules and regulations that we have in the UK are different from the rules and regulations that we have in Nigeria. So manning up is based on where you're located or your environment. Yeah. You understand? So manning up for me, and when we talk about UK, we talk about equality, don't we? The man is equal to the woman. So if the man is equal to the woman in a household, that means we have two heads in the family.
Mm.
We have two heads. I know some of you are shaking your heads, or nodding your heads, but listen, we have
It's,
two heads, and they always say two heads are better than one. Yeah, but then the two heads now there's a bit of confusion because the instructions are coming from different places. The same different instructions are coming from different places for the same thing. So in terms of what is that now saying to the children? You understand? What is that now
exactly.
saying? What signals are coming out? So if I want something, then what I'm going to do, I know dad is more likely to give it if
Mm.
I go to dad. So let me go to dad for this one. Yeah. But if I want something else, yeah, I know mom is likely to say yes. So let me go to mom. Yeah. So we've got a situation where we have equality in the UK. And guess what? Whatever happens here eventually comes to Nigeria. So there's some things that are going to happen. So I know that there's a lot of that Greg said it, someone said it, confusion. There's a lot of confusion. Um, and then guess what? When you have equality, I think Yaya mentioned something too about understanding last week, and also talking about you have to negotiate. You have to be a good negotiator in the UK, yeah, because you're sharing power. You're sharing power, and you are sharing force, as Greg says, yeah. So now the
Mm.
negotiation, if you're now able to man up under those conditions, you are actually more kind of like strategic, as what Yaya says. You're more strategic now in terms of your manning up. So I'm just thinking, whoa, this thing is bigger than I thought it would be. Yeah. So I'm just going, I
Hmm.
know, Greg, you put your hand up. Do you want to say something quickly before I go to Yaya? Because
Oh yeah. I'm just gonna say that. I mean, I think. Thank you very much. A recent study found out that people that do business together, couple that do business together, they stand the chance of doing even better. So our partners being part of decision-making process is actually a plus than a minus. So when we say man up, that's why I'm just trying so hard to make sure that I don't, my own thoughts is not explained in a different way. When I say man up, it does not mean the exclusion of the partner. But what I'm just saying is that there should be a leader who is we are making this suggestion, we are arguing about this together, but there should be someone who's going
Yeah,
to say, you know what, let's go and do it anyway, regardless. Let's go and do it. If anything happens, I'm the one responsible. Hold me accountable, not just dilly
yeah,
darling. So I want us to be able to separate that.
that's
So
right.
having the
Definitely,
partner in the game,
definitely.
having the partner to make decision with is very good. But there has to
Yeah,
be someone who's going to be responsible when things go wrong and when
yes,
things go right. That's really
yeah,
that's just
that's right.
I want to chime
That's
that
man
in
up.
before in a way. Yeah.
fantastic,
Definitely,
fantastic, and that's
definitely,
fantastic. And
definitely.
also remember, Hero mentioned the point, and I think everyone's mentioned it in terms of the leadership. Like everyone's mentioned this,
Yeah.
and what we need to do is we need to, and when we talk about leadership, we're talking about the fact that you have to stand for something,
Mm,
otherwise you fall for
Mm,
everything.
mm,
Yeah.
everything.
So
That's right.
we have to stand for something. And manning up is
Mm,
standing for something and going through with it. Yeah. and regardless of the negativity or the adversity that's coming your way, you need to be able to man up. So that's me anyway. I don't want to say too much. I think, yeah, you want to say a few words? Okay, yeah.
I feel like
And then,
I want to say something.
Yeah.
No, go on, yeah. After you, yeah, go on. You go.
Well, I think manning up for me, as we said earlier, and most of us have said it, is being courageous, stand for the what you believe in, and being taking everything into consideration of equality, be a leadership in everything you do, and make sure the outcome will be something for everyone to benefit from, avoiding any selfish, being selfish.
Great.
Yeah.
And thank you. And then, Shola, you want to say something about?
Yeah. I just want to say, just to kind of run up. I believe again we used this word last week, understanding, and I just believe that understanding, that wisdom, right, is what they call not this worldly wisdom or society wisdom. Wisdom is when we acknowledge that we have to have reverence to our maker. Listen, we were all made. There's no getting away from that. We didn't just spring on this earth. We're all made. And so we've got to apply that wisdom. Now, just to throw this little bit in, I think my friend Greg mentioned a point. The antenna was standing up. I was like, well, look, he said that we don't have, guys, we don't have a manual to live life. I humbly suggest that we do have a manual to live life. We have a blueprint. And I think that we've got to get into that understanding of tapping in to that blueprint. And we will see it's right there at our disposal. A set of instructions that will allow us to live a prosperous life, a joyful life, very productive life. I just want to end it on there. Thank you for
So when
allowing
you
the
say manual,
contributions.
you can't leave it like there. So are you starting the manual? Yeah, because we need someone
Am I
to
starting
actually
the
lead.
manual? We are starting the manual. Here's the
But
manual.
we need a leader. We need a leader.
Well,
Who
you're the leader,
started?
so you're there.
No.
Your
Show
name's on
that
this thing.
Greg's mentioned it. You and Greg negotiate who is leading this, and then I'll contribute. I'll contribute to it. Yeah.
No problem.
And Miles.
Yeah, just rounding up there. Definitely just taking in all the information, just understanding how things going on. Sorry, got
Right.
going on in the background, but yeah, it's a lot of key points there. A lot of key points. Feel like as a man, you have to take wisdom and understand that everything is spiritual. So we have to take the understanding of today's world is not the world of the past, and how to move forward and how to adapt, how to use our manhood and adapt in this modern day society, because the agenda is against us, but we can prevail.
Great. Thanks for that, Miles. Thanks. Great. Hero, just rounding up. Do you want to round up with anything you want to say, Hero?
Yeah, like I said, a lot of lessons to learn and unlearn. All right. So I'm glad I have men like you to look up to, and I'm going to take every information here very seriously. And we will also have to accept that a man has been destined to, die for what he believes in. So one way or the other, a man is going to die, and it's better die for what you believe in, because you're going to die anyway. So yeah, have something you believe in.
Great. And anyone else wants to finalize before we finally round up? Okay, but I think the thing is, at the end of the day, we started talking about man up, and we found it's bigger than we thought it was. And also, we're looking at the definition of man up. Shola has kindly said that he's going to write a manual for the men, with the help of Greg, and we're going to contribute, because this is going to be very important for the new men that are going to be arriving on the scenes. I'm very excited about this manual, because you know what, my sons are coming on the scene very soon, and soon we'll be talking about men now. So I think it's important, just like Greg said, kind of like women kind of like have a manual, so we as men need a manual, and we need a manual that can show us how to man up and how to keep forward. And just as a role model for we talked about role models in terms of man up. For me, I look at the Barack Obamas, yeah,
Mm.
and I look at that, and if you go and read about them, you go on this, listen, they don't get on all the time. Yeah, there was one story that I think Michelle Obama said that she hated her husband for 10 years. But she said it was worth hating him for 10 years for the success that happened for the next 10 years. Yeah. So you know what? You have to understand that life is like a balancing act. We have to balance. Yeah. And we kind of like have to, as Greg mentioned it, you tread on the chasing money, you lose the family. You chase the family, you lose the money. But we've got to be able to get it in the middle. And one last thing I want to share with you here, is that I was looking up some study about billionaire divorce rates. Yeah. And because when we talk about money up, we talk about chasing money and so on. Do you know that approximately 49% of billionaire marriages in the US end in divorce? 49% of billionaire marriages end in divorce. Now, the average divorce rate in the US is 40%. 40%. So what is that? What message is that telling us right now? Yeah. I believe Greg mentioned it. I think Greg mentioned it, whereby he said when the Western world was powerful, the UK was powerful, they had people that made decisions, people that were leading. Yeah. They didn't have any shared power. And now with the breakdown of the society, the new regulations coming in, look, here in the UK, you have to be careful what you say to your children. Yeah.
Mm.
Because guess what? You could be not manning up, you could be locked up. The things that you don't tell your children off sometimes before, you can't do that now. You have to think about it. Why do you have to think about what you're going to say to your children if you want to make them better? Why do we have to think about, look, before I tell my child off, why do I need to think about what I'm going to say to my child before I deliver it? I mean, it's confusing. It's confusing,
Is,
and then when I think
so
about it, I might have to alter it because it's not politically correct. Do you understand? But the whole conversation is to make this boy into a man, yeah, and to put pressure on him, give him pressure at the right time when he's young, so that he can end up as a diamond. Remember, you can only
that's right.
get diamonds from stones when you put pressure on the
That's right.
stone.
Yeah,
But
man.
guess
Yeah.
what? Unfortunately, our boys that are going to turn into men, unfortunately, they don't have the man role model there. And therefore, they're kind of like they said that the women have a manual, and the women's manual are now being sometimes, not all the time, sometimes being used to produce men. And there stands the confusion that we say. Hero said something about some of them are even deciding to go and become like women because it's more
Yeah.
profitable, more economical. And there's something might be in there. So that's me. That's me. I'm rounding up on that. But Greg, you want to say something, Chola? You round up. You round up. You round up, Chola. We're in part. You round up. I finish
Well,
off.
listen, what can I say? What can I say? Look, just to round up on that bit, I'm going to say the word peace. You mentioned the stuff about the billionaires. 49% of billionaires, you say,
Yeah.
are divorced, and I think I brought this point on earlier. The peace factor, the breakdown in their marriages, the breakdown in their relationships is because they have no peace, right? So it all goes full circle. There's no peace. So irrespective of the money that's there, the material gain. Remember, I said earlier that money is not a problem for a billionaire anymore. What he's knacking his head about in the nighttime now can't sleep is the succession aspect. And so to man up, guys, I humbly suggest that we keep that as a focus. It's not all about us anymore. Once there are children and grandchildren in the mix, we're thinking to generations ahead. Whether we like it or not, it's a generational
Mm.
legacy that we're looking to present.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think we should just hone in on that and zone in on that. And as you said earlier, Tony, there's so much to unpick from this particular topic. Man up, guys. Let's go away and man up. Let's think about it. Let's pray about it. Let's meditate about it, and let's see those different areas. Even to some degree, put that question to our partners. Do you think I'm manning up? I don't know. And let's get a response. Throw it into the forum next week. I don't know, but I think that's all I can say, Tony.
Yeah. All right. So thank you everyone for the call. I just want to say next call is probably going to be in 2 weeks' time. But the next call is actually, we started this call talking about my friend whose brother passed away just before New Year's Eve, the day before New Year's Eve, didn't make it to 2025. And one of the things I'm very concerned about is, are men taking care of their health? Yeah. Are we taking care of our health? And I want us to have, because in just respect and dedication to my friend's brother, and he was also my friend too. I want us to just tackle this subject the next time we meet. So those of you that are thinking about it, look, are we taking care of our health? Because why is it that the average life expectancy of a man is shorter than a woman? Yeah, and it gets even worse. The average life expectancy of a black man is shorter than everybody. White woman, black woman, white man. Come on. We need to see what we can do. So I think that's the debate. That's what we're going to be talking about next time. So it's just to get you ready for the next one. Yeah. And there should be some interesting discussion on that. So thank you very much for all coming on the call, and thank you for your contribution. And then hopefully you'll see more of this coming out on the podcast. If you want to see the previous one, you can see it on Spotify. Just go to the Spotify. You can listen to it or download it. Yeah. Thanks a lot there. Bye-bye. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, gents.
Bye, guys.
Bye, man.
everyone.
Take care. Good
Bye.
night. God bless.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Take care.
Good night. And Happy New Year. Prosperous New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Yeah.
Bye.